Alright, today I'm going to show you how to remove the rear door panel from a 99 Dodge Dakota extended cab. So first you're going to have to take off the seat belt mounting bolt on the B-pillar, which uses a T50 star socket. Next, you're going to remove the door sill, which has, you won't be able to tell how it's mounted because there's no visible screws or clips, and it is held in place simply by friction clips built into the body. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you have a tool like a clip removal tool, you can simply slip it under near each one of the clips, pull up on it, and it will release the clips. Now, like I saw online, somebody mentioned in a forum that these sill plates have end clips which slip under both front and rear, the rear door panel and as you can see. So it looks like mine had been removed previously and the front clip was already broken. So what you'd have to do is, once you pop those clips, you'd have to bend the sill plate. As it's plastic, it bends pretty easy. Maybe heat it up a little bit with a heat gun and bend it in the middle and slide the clips out from the front, push back on it, slide one out, and then pull it forward and slide the other out, and that will get the sill plate removed. So next you got to pull the door molding loose so you can have access to the clips inside, which I believe are the round black clips that you see on most door panels. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and then I'll restart the video. Okay, I've removed, and I will show you the first two connectors that you need to release. It's the round style friction type, and when the panel's closed, what you need to do is get you a light, pull it back a little bit so you can see where they're located. And you have one right here, and then you have a second one up here. If I can get a good picture of it. There it is, and there's the mounting hole. There's your seat belt mount. So I used a long screwdriver on this middle clip, and then I used the clip removal pliers on the top one. It was easier to get and make sure the door panel doesn't get damaged when you pry on it. And that'll give you some space to pull the panel back, where you'll be able to see this, what looks like a clip inside there, but is actually just a piece of Velcro, which I thought was a clip, but I'll point to it, which is right here. So that one will release, and what you do have, and that you won't be able to see, or you will be able to see, is these two clips here. And let's see, a better shot. You'll see that clip there, and you'll see one a little bit further down. Now, don't pry on it outward because they do clip over and down. So you've got to, before you release those two, you need to come up here, and there's a clip in this corner. And what you do is you just take your hand and you put it, one hand on the top, one hand underneath, and I was able to pry off the third friction mount, which is right there. And once you get that off and you're able to pull the window hatch handle forward, the panel will be able to push up, and you'll be able to get those two on the bottom released easy without breaking them. Now once you do that, the panel's completely loose. Now you can remove this bottom seat belt mount with the star tool. If you need to take the panel completely off, that'll get this it'll get the seat belt out of the way. I'm not going to have to do that, because what I'm doing today is just replacing this rear speaker, which is the paper's rotted out on it. So you can see it's completely loose. I'm just going to work it out of the way so I can get to the speaker, and then I'll restart the video. Okay folks, here we are again. So once I was removing the rear panel, I realized that it wasn't coming free, even though it's, you know, real loose from the side of the vehicle. And what I realized is that there's two Phillips head mounting screws back behind this rear panel that runs the length of the back seat, which mounts up here. Okay, and it's so I'm going to be doing both speakers today, so I needed to be able to get this panel off, and it's simply mounted with 10 of the round friction type mounting plastic mounting tabs, which pop into, you know, as you can see, these holes. There's one on the top and one on the bottom, and they're right on top of each other. So I use the which these, I bought these at I think Harbor Freight, pretty inexpensive, but on this project I don't know if I could have done it as well without them. They're coming pretty handy. So they allow you to get behind the panel and without pulling too much on the outer side of the plastic, which sometimes can give you that that white, you know, turns the plastic white when you overstress the plastic. So I removed all 10 of those pretty easy. Get that panel out of the way, and all I have to do, you just pull this, pull your seat belt out of the slot, and then that just comes out of the window restraining mechanism, and then panel should pull out. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back after I get it off. Okay, back again. So I've got the 2 screws removed, as you can see, and then the panel came almost completely off. So space is kind of limited inside the cab here, so you just move the seat belt out of the way, and panel just comes right off. Sorry for the bad video, but it's a little tight inside here. So there's the panel off. Of course, I'm not going to need to take it all the way off. It's still kind of somewhat held on by the seat belt down there at the bottom, but I'm just going to push it out of the way here. And there's my speaker, and I'm going to be removing that speaker. And these speakers, both front and rear, on these Dakotas and Durangos, they have these 3 mounting tabs, which makes the speaker unique to this vehicle. They are 6.5-inch speakers, and what I do to you can go on eBay, you can find the Infinity. They still have some OEM floating around. They're somewhere between 70 and 100 bucks, 150 bucks. So they're a little pricey. You can use the aftermarket, which I did on the fronts. And what you have to do is you have to get a Ziz wheel, and you simply cut this entire metal plate off of the speaker to use as a plate to hold your you know, that will hold the new speaker in place once you have this remove that plate. That's the easiest way I found to do it. There's some other methods on YouTube, but they're pretty cumbersome. So I'll try and give you a shot of that as I start to I'm going to remove the speaker, then I'm going to take it out and get my Ziz wheel and start pulling that piece off of the speaker. Okay, so here you can see I've taken out removed the 3 Phillips head mounting screws, you know, to remove the speaker, and the speaker didn't come off, it just fall off. It's got sticky double sticky tape all the way around the speaker, and so I had to use a, you know, like a large screwdriver to pry it loose, and then after you do that, it pretty much just comes right off. And you can see the factory clip here. I'm going to use the factory clips. I have some other clips that I bought off eBay from a kit that didn't exactly work right, but I'll make them work. So you just pull up on this little tab here, and then it should come, whoa, and the speaker, if you're not holding on to it or you don't have somebody else, will just come loose. So, and this is a factory. Okay folks, back again, and here we have the door speaker. This is out of the vehicle, and you know, from the factory they have this you know, felt plastic type screen mesh material over to kind of muffle the sound and give it that good OEM quality sound, kind of like a microphone that they use for radio talk shows. So this one was in pretty good shape, but it was showing signs of I don't know, maybe that was just the glue. I thought it was kind of torn a little. Actually, this is in pretty good shape, but rather risk it you know, dry rotting and starting to make noise like the as you can see here, the factory speaker is completely rotted out. It was actually still playing, it was just rattling. So here's the Ziz wheel I used. It's an electric Ziz wheel with the you know, cutting bits, the metal cutting bits that you can get from any hardware store, or you know, Harbor Freight, or you can get them online, other stores as well, online stores. So this was the factory speaker, and you know, there's the number if you want to know the number without getting into yours. And so what I do is I cut the ring off the factory speaker. I've got to cut the wires here as well. So what that allows me to do is to I'm not going to use I'm going to cut that center section out as well. I'm not going to use that portion, but you know, I guess you could if you were handy with wires and solder, but I'm going to cut those off. I'm going to cut that center section out. I'm going to use this ring to mount the aftermarket speaker back into the truck, and using the factory mounting screws and holes. And I won't have to alter or cut anything, because I am putting these in a Dakota RT, so I don't want to alter any of the factory wiring harness or mounting. I don't want to cut any holes or mounting or drill holes. So let me get back to that. I'll take that center section out, and then go get my aftermarket speakers, and then I'll be back. All right folks, moving on here to wiring. I've got the speaker mount cleaned up. I got the edges cleaned up, got it completely taken, you know, removed from the old speaker, which is over here. And the new speaker has 4 holes, but I'm not going to use the holes on the speaker. It's going to be the bracket from with the factory holes that are going to hold it on. So this particular speaker's got 2 of the same size positive and negative terminals. I had purchased on the internet, when I did my front speakers, this connector, which was supposed to work, but this does not. Here's actually the factory off the speaker itself that I'm going to use today. I did take this connector apart like I did on the front speakers, and then use these 2 prongs to push into the original harness coming out of the door, but I've decided on the rears I'm going to use the original piece that was originally on the speaker, and I just you know, you just push this little it's slid in, and you push that little clip in right there, and then it just pulls right off the speaker. So and then I took my Ziz wheel here and kind of flattened out the the solder, and then cut the wires off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this speaker wire. I think that came with the other speakers. I'm going to have to replace the negative because it had a skinny connector, and the speakers that I bought have a too larger connector, so I'm going to have to replace one of those with one of these brass connectors, and then those will go on to the speaker, and then I'll have I'm going to take and clip this, put these two brass terminals on the end, and then slide them up on here and pinch them on with the pliers, and that's how I'm gonna. Then this will slide into the factory harness in the truck, and I won't have to damage any of the factory wiring. So off the internet I got the schematic, and the which matches my truck, which is a 99 Dakota, is the right rear speakers are blue white is positive and blue orange is negative. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. I'm going to not bore you with all the semantics of actually doing it, and then I'll show you the results once I get finished. Okay folks, I got the wiring harness all fabricated. You can see here I just used some old speaker wire from the leftover from front speakers, and I had to replace the negative terminal because it was too small, and those were large terminals on these speakers. So, and then I reused the factory a plug-in, and I put the red on the positive and the black on the negative. And so now I'm going to get ready to install it back in the truck. Alright folks, back again. I've got the speaker connected back to the factory harness with the piece that I took off of the original speaker. It just plugs right in. Now I've got the red connected, which is the positive, to the white, blue and white stripe, and the blue and horrible video. The sun's shining in and I can't. Anyway, blue and orange is the negative. So, the ring that I took off the original speaker, I'm just gonna put the speaker in the hole and use the original 3 screws and just screw it in, and should be good. I'll go ahead and do that, and because I can't hold the camera at the same time, I did, if you notice, put some electrical tape around those brass connectors so they wouldn't bounce around and ground out on anything. So let me go ahead and do that, install it, and then I'll shoot the last video and show you the finished product. Okay folks, here we go. For the last time, I hope. This is the finished product. I put the speaker in. As you can see, I used the original mounting location. I used the steel bracket off the old speaker. All 3 screws fit nice, no hole drills. I used the factory harness. I didn't cut the harness, and it looks pretty good. Looks like maybe I could have got the speaker a little straighter, but second hands would have helped that. So if you have somebody around to help you hold things, kind of goes a little easier. But I was able to do it by myself. Let me give it a little volume here, and you can hear it. Not not a real great song with to hear the bass, but I'm pretty satisfied with the way it sounds, and I'm gonna get to putting this panel back on and get to doing the other side so I can get this wrapped up. I hope this video helps you if you're gonna try and attempt this rear speaker install, and I think anybody with intermediate advanced level can handle this no problem, even beginner. Just watch this video first, and hope it helps, folks, and good luck.